Hello, and welcome to another episode of Mocha Latte After Dark. I am your host, JJ Fitzgerald, and today's topic is, Lord, help me to want to renew my mind. I was listening to my favorite pastor this morning, and the topic was about renewing your mind. I started thinking about my life, and he essentially was saying that if things aren't going the way that you would like them to go, and you're basically living this carnal life, you're separating yourself from God. And that is why things are not working out. That is why you can't figure out what God's will is for you, because you're disconnected from Him. He gave a few points: decide to change, desire to change, deepen your spiritual knowledge, diligence, defend your mind from those old ways, disassociate yourself from some people who aren't helping you to become better spiritually, depend on God. So those are the things you needed to essentially do in order to get to the level of renewing your mind. And you have to be consistent. It's really a process, and it takes time. It's not something that's easy. The last 2 years or so, I have been really trying to figure out what my purpose is in life. I haven't been able to figure that out. And I think a big part of it is because I have been living carnally. I was celibate for 18 months. And then I gave up my celibacy this past fall, and I regretted it. But because I started fornicating again, I just continued to do it. And that was definitely something that separated me from God. In addition to my mouth is crazy sometimes. I try not to use profanity during my podcast, but in life, I curse, and just really unnecessarily sometimes, just for humor. But all of that stuff is not in accordance with the fruits of the Spirit. So I have to now basically go through this process of really renewing my mind. But the most important thing is, like the title, Lord, help me to want to renew my mind, because that is the biggest part. And you have to be honest with God, because He already knows I don't want to do the work. So I have to lean on Him to give me the desire to do the work, because without that, I'm just going to stay in the same direction that I've been going. And the other thing is, you have to be aware of what you're feeding your spirit. Just like when you put terrible food into your body, you feel terrible. But when you put good food into your body, you feel good. And it's the same thing with your spirit. If you're feeding your spirit trash, then your spirit's going to feel like trash. And that in turn is going to make you behave in a way that's the opposite of what God's will is for you. I just realized that I have a lot of work ahead of me, and I was getting tired just thinking about it after I took all these notes from the pastor's sermon. I have to do the work. I have children. I want to be an example to my children. And usually when I tell my daughter, oh, I need to change and I need to work on this and that, she's just like, yeah, okay, Mom. And then a couple of hours later, I'm back to using swear words. And so I'm not setting a good example for my children. So I said, this time I just need to not announce it and just do it. One of the scriptures that I wanted to share is in Romans 12:2. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will. What I like to do to make it more personal is I change the your to my. So do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of my mind. Then I will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will. That way it feels more personal to me than just reading it as it's written. So this is something that I need to meditate on every day. The hard part about this process will be disassociation. I just have to become stronger in my faith when it comes to love, when it comes to my career, just overall. I have to value myself more and not feel like I have to say yes to everybody and please everybody. I am an empath, and so I tend to want to fix things. If someone's feeling pain, I want to relieve them of that pain. I want to be a fixer, and I have to learn that I can't do it. I am not God. It's going to be a lot that I have to do, but I have to do it because I want eternal life. So I have to fix myself. I have no choice. I have to get on this path, and I have to do my due diligence, and I have to be consistent. Will I fall away sometimes? I'm sure I will. But when I do, I have to get back up immediately and get back on course. Thank you for listening to another episode of Mocha Latte After Dark. I am your host, JJ Fitzgerald. And as always, be true.